the way too early Big-10 predictions.
All right, so let's go ahead and start with our way too early Big-10 predictions.
Yeah, I mean, the Big-10 conference is completely different as far as the landscape than it was last year.
Yes.
Obviously, they added Oregon, Washington, USC, UCLA, all teams that had, pretty successful runs in the Pac-12 conference.
Right.
So I say we just get it. I'm going to go right into my number 5, who I got in the Big-10 conference, and I'm going to go with Washington.
Washington, number 5.
Yep,
okay.
Washington, number 5. I think head coach Jed Fish, I think he's got a tall task, kind of keeping the Huskies rolling. Obviously, I wouldn't go as far as saying they have college football playoff hopes like they were last year, with the undefeated season and their only loss coming to Michigan in the national championship game. But I do think they're going to be a top team in this conference. Jed Fish, he did a fantastic job at Arizona, really did a good work turning the Arizona program over, got some good talent in there. They do have 4-star Demond Williams Jr., who was originally an Ole Miss signee, ended up flipping to Ole Miss for Jed Fish, and then ended up kind of hitting the transfer portal, following him up, because there's that rule in the transfer portal that they can move with the coach. Kid's electric, man. He's a really good player. I actually watched a few minutes of film on him. He's only like 5'11", and he's got a huge arm. I mean, really get the ball of the field. Really accurate passer. Really shifty, quick, good on his feet. So I think they have a really good chance to kind of show what they can do, after with the Jed Fish change even.
My number 5 on our Big-10 way too early rankings, I have Rutgers.
Rutgers?
I have them, yeah.
Okay.
I have them at 5.
Okay, I love it.
So they do have tough games against Wisconsin, USC, Maryland, and Michigan State. But this is all about scheduling, my friend.
Absolutely.
This is all about scheduling because they are not playing Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State, or Oregon.
I guess that is going to look good in the conference rankings.
So, yeah, I do think that's going to help them a little bit. Again, this is our way too early rankings. I'm just kind of looking at the schedule, looking at what's happening there, and I just see them being at that 5th spot. I think they got a good shot doing it. See them being, top 30 team in the country.
Okay.
Ish.
Okay.
Somewhere around there. But that's, I have 5. I have Rutgers.
I like it. These are some. You're opening up bold, man. You're going right out the gate.
Let me start with my 4th because then we'll go over to yours.
Okay,
you'll
deal.
see why. My 4th is actually Washington. I have Washington 4th.
Okay.
I think Jed Fish is going to do a great job, but I do see them being a borderline top 25 team when all said and done. They're just not as talented of a team as they were underneath Kalen.
Yep.
Underneath Coach DeBoer there, and with his exit, the entire offensive line, I believe, offensive side of the ball leaving.
Pretty much.
So,
yeah. I mean, and he brought a lot of talent with him from Arizona, but how's that going to transfer? Obviously the players are saying they're going to have some cohesion issues, I believe. It's just really tough to get everybody on the same page, doing the same thing, especially when you're running a brand new offense, that kind of stuff. So
100% agree. So who do you have as 4?
I have number 4, Penn State.
Penn State.
James Franklin and Penn State University.
Gotcha.
This is one of those teams that I think always has something to prove. You know what I mean? Like they're always out there. They're always kind of looked at like in the shadows of, or Ohio State and Michigan, and dealing with those kind of powerhouses in your conference the whole time can be really tough. But I think this is a good season for them. They are returning a ton of talent. They didn't lose a lot of guys to the NFL last year. But what they're going to need is a big, flashy offense, because that's what Michigan has. That's what Ohio State has. They're always big-time offenses, right? Their quarterback, Drew Allar, he's kind of coming in, but he might be the guy. They got their new offensive coordinator, Andy Kotelnicki. I think if Allar is going to be that guy, he's going to step up, be vocal. He can lead this team, and they can get some wins. I think they can be on the top side of this conference for sure.
Very nice, very nice. Yeah,
Yep.
I look forward to where I have Penn State, by the way, because I have them ranked a little differently than you.
Okay,
That's what we call a tease for later on in the episode, for sure.
excellent.
All right, so do you want to read off your 3rd, and then I go with mine, or?
Yeah, so my number 3 is kind of my bold statement.
Okay.
I have Michigan at number 3.
That is a bold statement, my friend. And then we just lost half the viewers on this video.
I apologize, Michigan fans.
We just lost 30 subscribers.
But I love Michigan, man. I think they're such a good team. But between the head coaching changes, going to Sherrone Moore, you lost so much talent to the NFL. And I think number 3 is actually more of a compliment, right? It just kind of tells you how talented, how deep they are. They're going to keep playing. They're kind of in a quarterback battle, right? Their offensive coordinator, Kurt Campbell, came out and said that they're not really sure who number one is.
Mhm.
You know, it's kind of apparent. Everyone thinks it's pretty obvious that you know, we had a previous video on it, but Alex Orji could potentially be that guy. But they have recruited. They recruited really well. You know, they did pretty good in the transfer portal, and I just think that they got a good shot. Be
Nice.
number 3. I think they're going to keep winning some ball games.
Nice. My number 3 in our way too early Big Ten rankings, I have Nebraska.
Wow. Okay, so bold statements are out the window because number 3 is Nebraska.
Number 3 is Nebraska.
Okay.
I got them catching early momentum with the start of the schedule. I do think Matt Rule has early eyes on that Dillon kid, that 5-star freshman QB. I think he's going to be the starting one there, and I think he's highly rated coming in. So I think he's going to do well. They only play one preseason top 20 team. So that's my key thing for why I'm putting them so high.
You think just pure scheduling?
Yeah, like I said with Rutgers, man, at 5, Nebraska at 3, I think, and they're only playing one top 20 team. Again, this preseason rankings, and these are our early rankings anyway. So
these are our way too early rankings.
Yeah, way too early rankings.
Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button. Check it out. We're going to put out more rankings. You guys are going to love them.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We'll also drop in the description there our links to the what did you do? Big 12 way too early rankings last week. So
absolutely.
We'll drop that in there as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's my thinking on that. I think Nebraska is going to do well. I think they have a great quarterback that they're going to put under center there. But yeah, just mainly with the scheduling there, you know, you'll notice the trend. But I'll say at the end of mine, you'll notice the trend on my top 5. But that's why I got is number 3.
Okay, excellent. You want me to go to number 2 then?
Actually, let's go with my number 2 because
Okay.
this is a team you already met. Spoiler alert, that you already said, which is Penn State. I have Penn State finishing second in the conference.
Okay.
Reason why I have that is they, you know, they have one tough matchup in the fall. Actually, a couple of them with USC and Ohio State, but I think they aren't going to have too many conference losses outside of that. And I do think that they're going to be one of these CFP darlings. You know, they just squeak into that top 12.
Yeah.
That top 12 finishing for the college football playoff there. So, you know, and again, this is a team that, you know, can either prove me right or prove me drastically wrong, you know?
Yes.
Penn State.
Yes. And they're always good. Penn State is always a good football team.
They can have some key losses that always hurts them.
Yep. They always got that one loss to Ohio State where they, you know, lose by 14. And you're just like, yeah, you can't actually hang with college football playoff contenders. You lose by 3, it's a ball game.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like you show, but you lose by 2 scores and it's just a completely different game.
Yep. Who do you have 2?
Number 2, I have the Ohio State University.
Ooh. We just lost our other half of our subscribers.
I just think that Ryan Day and company, this is a team that is always very good. They're one of the best recruiting teams in the country. And they're going to be out for blood against Michigan. They've lost the last couple of years to them. You know, they're going to be out to win this conference.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be going for it all. They also have a starting quarterback position that they need to, you know, they've got to figure out. They lost, you know, McCord to the transfer portal after he had a relatively successful season. Ohio State fans chime in. Let me know what you guys think. Obviously, you know, they got a quarterback battle going between Will Howard and Devin Brown. So they do got a tough road game. You know, they're at Penn State on November 2nd. So that's going to be a tough game. Other than that, I mean, they got Michigan at home to end the season. Their schedule's not terrible. I think they can make a good push and have a good season.
All right, so that brings us to our number 1, who
Yes, sir.
we have finishing the top of our way too early Big Ten rankings.
Okay.
You want to go first?
Yeah, I have number 1 as Oregon, man.
Okay.
Yep, I have number 1 as the University of Oregon. Dan Lanning has just absolutely killed it in the transfer portal. He's killed it recruiting. This team's, I mean, yeah, they're sending some skill players to the NFL. It's a veteran team, man. And they continue to just bring in all kinds of talent. They're going to be well coached. They're going to be experienced. They got a test. Obviously, they've got Ohio State coming to Eugene on October 12th. That's a huge matchup. I mean, and realistically, it's like 4 or 5 games in.
Mm-hmm.
That game could be conference title championship aspirations, right?
Right.
Could be a rematch. That's going to be a huge one. I mean, these guys are going to be, Oregon's going to be a fantastic football team. They're, you know, we watched them come here and obliterate our youths in a game that wasn't supposed to happen the way it did. You know, then they got a tough road game. They got Michigan November 2nd, and it's going to be an Oregon offense versus Michigan defense kind of game. You know what I mean? So who do you got?
All right, so my number one team for my way too early Big Ten rankings is Michigan.
Michigan.
Yeah.
You don't even have Oregon in your top 5?
No, you notice the trend?
Yeah.
None of the teams, with the exception of Washington, made my top 5. None of the new incoming teams made the top 5.
Wow.
They even have Ohio State finishing 6th right now. So, but we'll get into that a little bit. We'll get into that as we get closer to the season. But as I'm sitting right now, I've got Michigan. They're national champs, man. When you're on the top, you got to, you're on the top until you're proven you're not.
Yep, absolutely.
So you got to give them a benefit of a doubt straight out the box, even though they're not going to have that sign stealing advantage that they had last year. I do believe that their head coach had plenty of time to acclimate himself to the head coaching role when he filled in for several games last year and had a great record. I do believe that they have a lot of talent returning on the defensive side of the ball, which is what made Michigan who they are. I do think that that defense will buy Coach Moore time to get comfortable underneath the big headset, as they say. They have Texas coming in week 2, so that will tell us a lot on where they're going to sit there. But yeah, I got Michigan as the top dog for the Big Ten early on. None of the teams, with the exception of Washington, which I'm just high on because of how well they played. I think Jed Fish is a great offensive mind, and Washington's had a great offense last year. I think he continues that. I think he rolls into the Big Ten, and I think while he doesn't, win the division, win the conference, I do think he's going to do well enough to basically put him on the map there. I got him at 4. Everybody else I got finishing out. Oregon, USC, all of them not making it.
Wow.
Sorry. It's my way too early predictions there.
I'm a little surprised.
Yeah.
Did you see Oregon play last year?
I did. I watched a lot of Oregon football last year.
Okay.
I did. I just don't think
this is why we have way too early predictions.
Yeah.
And you obviously we don't share anything.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think that they've just got, you think about it this way, man. When we do teaser for the SEC, how many incoming teams are you think are just going to dominate that conference right out of that?
Absolutely.
And the Big Ten is technically, in my opinion, the second strongest football conference over the last 10 years in the.
Oh, hands down.
So I just think a bunch of Pac-12 teams that had a great year last year. Don't get me wrong. Pac-12 is probably one of the strongest conferences last year. Yeah,
arguably the strongest conference last year.
Yeah, arguably the strongest last year.
Right.
So I just don't think they're going to come in there and make a whole bunch of noise and shake things up and, break up the top 5. So
yeah.
A lot of these teams I had for ties, by the way. I had to pick one and I went one way, which knocked Ohio State and Oregon out of the top 5. So we want to hear from you folks there. Go ahead and drop in the comments there. Drop in the chat. Let us know what you think, dear listener, dear viewer, what you think as far as our bold predictions there about how the Big Ten is going to shake out the top 5 there. We are on the grind to 1,000 subscribers. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. We're going to give away the first $500 that we earn in AdSense revenue back to our subscribers. So make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit that notification bell. Hit like on this video for your boy AJ there so you don't miss it on that giveaway.
Appreciate it. And if you're watching on one of our short videos, this is available as a podcast wherever you get your podcasts, audio only.
With all that said, my name is Darren. This is AJ, and this has been the DNA Sports Recap.
Till next time.